Hey guys and girls, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Buzzsprout. Start a podcast today with free podcast hosting for Buzzsprout, easy podcasting software for hosting, promoting, and tracking your podcast. Buzzsprout is the best way to publish a podcast online for secure and reliable hosting to full iTunes support. Get started for free, no credit card required, cancel at any time.
Stats for losers.
That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is.
You play to win the game.
Welcome to the Airin podcast. In our podcast, I'm blessed and honored today to have my good friend Jay on. What's going on, Jay?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I wanted to ask you, are you sad that you're not going to be able to go to camp this year?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? You had the total cool plug over there with Vegas, right?
Yep. And it sucks, man.
Yeah, that's terrible. How's your guy doing? He's a Raven, right? A friend of yours?
Yeah. He's on. He got moved over to where's he at? The Titan or the Carolina. He's on the Panthers now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was just out in Vegas and this last weekend, and ran into a couple guys out there. A lot of athletes are out there right now
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Interesting. Are they partying? Are they training? What are they doing?
Partying out there, like a lot of retired guys. T.O. was out there.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of guys were out
So
there.
did you bump into them, or you just seen them as an entourage?
I bumped into him as an entourage, kind of walking through casinos and seeing them and, shoot the shit real quick. You know what I mean? And that's about it.
What were you doing in Vegas? Just some R&R?
Yeah, just going out there to, have some fun with the family.
How's Vegas right now? Because I was just telling the missus I want to do my 40th in Vegas. What's Vegas like? Is it still packed? Is it not?
No, it's not. It's actually perfect.
So it's not busy. So you get to do a lot of different things and not have to worry about all those people interrupting your time there.
Yeah, like the pools are there. The pools are like, I would like one of the pool places I was at. They said that the capacity was 5,000, but they were only letting 1,000 people in.
Wow.
So 20% of what they normally would have. So I liked it personally, but it's not too good for the 21-year-old crowd.
Yeah, no, I could only imagine those those guys must be all PO'd.
Yeah, the 40-year-old crowd though, is perfect for us guys.
Yeah. Listen, I'm totally down with that, bro. It's so funny. I'm so excited that I'm 40 or getting to the 40 part. You cut out a lot of the nonsense, right? And some of the young tomfoolery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I was talking to your missus off air, and she was telling me that you guys were using Madden to help you guys through the COVID. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
True. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just doing Madden Sims.
So I don't even know what that is. What do you mean Madden Sims? Like somebody's playing the game and going through the motions?
No. So you can do on the Madden, you can do just pick two teams and you can do computer versus computer basically.
On your site? On your site specifically, Madden, or it's like a Madden site?
Just on any, if you play Madden, you can just do a Madden simulated game where it's, you can pick whatever two teams, they just play each other, computer versus computer. And,
people were waging on that?
Yeah. So, we had to do that, and we were putting them up, they put them up live on Twitch TV.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so crazy.
We run into a few issues, where some of the games would glitch or freeze, and you know what I mean? It sucks for the guys who won, but the guys who are getting ready to lose, those guys are happy,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. So was that the only thing that people were found themselves being able to place bets on? I can't hear you, brother. Sorry about that. Can you the mic I think is being covered by your digits.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you call it? Yeah. So then we had, once the soccer started up, we were able to get the soccer.
Oh, that's cool.
And,
did you see more people engaged in soccer this season because that was like the only sporting event available?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. How about MMA? Did anybody was UFC?
MMA's been great. Dana White putting together a fight, 1 or 2 fights every single week is fucking awesome.
I know that's crazy. I mean, he kind of led the charge on getting all of that situated and everything, and kind of opening up the COVID sports game.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He did it right. Putting these guys in a bubble and fight.
So now, being that we're semi back, are people betting on MLB now and NBA and all that stuff?
Yeah, everything's back now. People are feeling it all now.
Was a large part of your business model with college football? Because now with college football kind of taking a break, how's that going to go? Because I know a lot of people bet on college football.
Yeah, it's going to suck. Definitely. I mean, God, hopefully the pros can get it all figured out and they're able to play. And maybe college football, maybe like the SEC, the ACC, maybe they're going to be able to figure it out and at least try to play in conference.
So at this point, it's just the Pac-10 and who I seen another division, right?
Big Ten. The Big Ten is out. The Pac-10 is out.
The Pac-12, sorry. Pac-12 and Big Ten.
Yeah. And then like a lot of other schools, that just said, no, we're not playing, is going to put pressure on other people. We'll see how it all shapes out here in the coming weeks, but hopefully SEC is able to do something, And, come November, it's going to be real tough because you're not going to have, only thing we're going to have is NFL, as long as NFL can figure it out. So we're only going to have games, besides the one game on Monday, the one game on Thursday, maybe, we're only going to have games on Sunday.
Yeah, I know. So, I was thinking if they should just like try to make all those games Sunday games to try to give people a whole week if they got sick or if they didn't get sick. I mean, if a team catches COVID, I don't know how they're going to try to figure out how to bounce around scheduling, which is going to be a pain.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I seen the Seahawks just cut some rookie because he brought some chick into the hotel and into their quarantine. So sounds like the teams are kind of taking it serious. We can't end up like the Marlins or the Cardinals. You know what I mean? Like that happens to an NFL team. You don't have a week or 2 weeks to not play a game, and you can play double headers. The whole schedule is screwed up at that point. You're going to have a team that plays 12 games instead of 16. How are you going to put them in the playoffs, or how are you going to tell them they're not in the playoffs?
I wonder if they should have even maybe considered shortening the season as well. I know they took off all of the preseason games, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, 16 games, that's going to go all the way into flu season, right? It's going to be December, January, at least December. And then that's when the playoffs start. But it looks like a mess.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
I guess as long as Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers don't get sick, I guess everybody will be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be weird once, say one team gets it, and where does the league go from there? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
insane.
I just it's going to be. I'll be surprised if they make it all the way through the season. I mean, I pray that they do, but it'll be surprising. You know what I mean?
So I wanted to ask you, how did you get into this business?
I was always a gambler, man. I'd be in middle school and we're betting, you know what I mean, on whatever we could bet on, at that point, whether it's a foot race or rock, paper, scissors, you know what I mean? Anything we could do to try to bet, and then as I got older, I kind of started realizing, I'd see my dad betting on, Super Bowls back with Montana, and, I'd see him stressing, and I was like, dude, what a feeling, that's got to be a crazy feeling. So then I started basically betting myself, and that's how it started, just kind of was, I guess, kind of in my blood.
It's strange because, you could watch a regular game without a wager, and it's one kind of game. And then when you put money on that game, it's a totally different experience, right?
Oh, yeah. You start yelling, you got the the fix is in if it's not going your way. You know what I mean?
100%, bro. I can't do it.
These games are fixed. If you lose, the game's fixed. If you win, I fucking knew it. I'm the smartest guy in the world. You know?
Do you know? I mean, I'm sure you got to run all kind of like analytics. Do you see people that win probably bet more? Or are there smart bettors that, win and kind of take their winnings and go half in? Because it seems like people double up when they're losing, right? Like they try to bet more to kind of cover.
Yeah, I see it too when you're winning. You say you get a guy, he wins, say, let's just say, for instance, a guy wins $100 and then he wins another $100. So now he's up $200 and there's only one more game left. Sunday night football's left. Well, he's like, shoot, I'm just going to put the 200 all on one game where he normally is betting $50 a game. Now he's betting, 4 times what he would normally bet because it's the last thing on the board. And he's like, well, if I lose, I'm still even for the week. And if I win, then I just cleaned house. They feel like they conquered the world.
So most guys kind of go with that baseline, right? It's like either we covered our losses or we made a little bit more, right? Because you got to be under 500 betting in general, right? People don't win at least 50%, not even, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would think,
Is sports gambling legal? Like there's a weird place it is in, right? Because you can bet on sports, but you can't. I'm so confused on how this works.
Yeah, it's like regulated, you're supposed, like some states have it legal, but like offshore betting's not legal. But a lot of people still do offshore betting because, that's just what they've always known, They used to be like, if you couldn't go to Vegas, you had nowhere to bet, unless you had
a bookie or something, right?
Yeah, and offshore. Or, there was like places like sportsbook.com, 5 Dimes. There's always been places like that where you could, put your credit card down and, put a deposit in. And, it just became like, for me, I used to bet through like sportsbook.com and I had street books. And it got to the point where like the online, like the sportsbook.com and the 5 Dimes, it was just too hard to get your money out. It'd take you 8 weeks to get paid. By that time,
right.
Joe, he already lost all that money and 100%. Gave it back.
Not only that, the thrill has got to be gone, right? Because you're trying to recycle that money. If you made money, you're trying to put it back in to try to either make more, right? Or play with it.
You go win a couple thousand, you're like, cool, I'm going to take a vacation next week,
That's true.
And then,
too.
well, fuck, I got to wait 8 weeks for my money. In those 8 weeks, I already spent that money. That shit's long gone. That shit's already a past thought,
Coming from New York, one of the interesting things that I found out, especially being in Southern California, was a lot of guys drive over to TJ and go to the sports book down there and make some bets because it's legal there, right?
Yeah, Caliente. You can go down to Caliente. But Caliente, I'm not positive on this. They used to take, I think, 4%. Mm-hmm. So even if you win, they take 4%. So you win $100, they're taking $4. You know what I mean? You win $1,000, they're taking $40.
I mean, for it being legal, that's still not too bad.
Yeah, but now they raised it. I think it's either 6 or 8% now that they take.
Wow. Yeah, they're getting hip to the program.
Yeah, I mean, so you're losing. You pay the 10% juice. You're minus 110. So you're paying that 10%, and you're getting double ended.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that.
Because if you win,
right?
Yeah. So if you lose, you lost that juice. But if you win, you still got to pay them juice. It's like, I mean, if you got no other option, hey, you're going to do what you got to do, right?
100%. I know. That's why I kind of stood away from it. I play usually, 3 or 4 games at $20 bets. I can't. That shit gets me way too nervous, man.
Like I tell everybody, man, do this for fun and enjoy it. Don't do it and think you're just going to become, you're the sharpest bettor ever. Mm-hmm. And you're betting, if you make $500 a week, you got no business betting $500 a game. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like you're going to end up one of those people who like, you're going to want to commit suicide and drive off the bridge. It's like, if you could just, if you make $500 a week, but you enjoy the thrill of gambling, well then gamble $100 a week, and make, bet 25, 4 games at $25 a game or 5 games, $20 a game or whatever you want to do. But you got no business having an account where you're betting, $500 a game.
All right, this might be a tougher question, and you let me know if you can answer it or not. But through your platform, you're a super nice guy. You usually give a lot of people credit lines, right?
Yeah.
What if someone has a hard time paying? Do you set up a payment plan? Do you like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Payment plan.
And then you cut they can't gamble anymore until they pay up whatever they owe, right?
Yeah, usually, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then you just get them on a payment plan. I'm not looking to
Right. I think that's the bad thing.
Take people away from their family and take food out of their mouth. I'm not that guy. You know, it's like you also got to have a judge of character. You know, like if I know, like, you know, for instance, okay, I got this guy, I meet him, he's a bartender, and all he does is a bartender, and maybe he's a bartender at a good place and he makes pretty good money, but he wants an account for $10,000 a week.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
It's not going to happen. Like, There's no way, you know, unless you show me that you have proof of that kind of money. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't do that because you're going to end up in a situation where you owe me, and I'm going to be like, oh, like, you know,
what are we going to do now?
It doesn't work good. You know what I mean? So you got to have a judge of character, definitely. You know, like anything, you know, you have to have a judge of character, and then you kind of set them up what you think is right.
So basically, you're like hand picking people to go through your platform. Basically, is that way you don't get too fucked with people not wanting to pay.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily set up, you know, 100 new accounts today. Just go out and give everybody an account. But how many problems am I going to have? You know what I mean? And it's like I don't want the problems. And you know, if you win, I pay you. If you lose, I expect to get paid. That's pretty simple. You know, it's human nature. You know, be a good human. Be a good human.
I wish you were I wish a lot more people ran their business model more like yours, because you know the big stigma with legalizing gambling is also there's going to be a rise in, you know, degenerate gamblers, but also there's a lot of people that talk about you know the bad side of things, somebody knocking on your door, breaking your knees, trying to collect and all that stuff. But I feel like that's more of like the mob old school mentality, right? I mean, have you met anybody else in your business that does kind of the things you do or similar to that?
Yeah, there's definitely other books, that, they don't play around, I mean, you owe them $100, you don't pay them and break your legs probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah, shit, for $100. Like, imagine that.
But those are also the guys that'll sign up anybody for whatever they want. Oh, you're a bartender, you want a $10,000 account? Fine, I'll give it to you. The consequences if you don't pay. Wow. Where I'm like, man, I just don't want those problems, and I'm not that guy. I'm like, I just don't want the issues. I don't want no problems with nobody.
Yeah, that's what a situation to think about, right? Because everything is always good when it's good, right? Everybody is getting paid, it's all working, but usually with that situation, it's kind of a pain in the ass because you got to be a man of your word, right? If you say you're gonna put this money down and you're gonna bet, you got to pay. No, I find that so interesting. I will always ask you too, with the offshore stuff. Could you do fantasy if you wanted to? Because I know you haven't added that element into the platform yet.
Yeah, that's not really my thing. I want people playing on games, not players. And then there's already, you got the FanDuels and you got the DraftKings. It's like, so just what they have to offer is so much, and they're so ahead of that game that it's like, if I start offering fantasy, it's going to take away from my guys that I'm trying to just get to play sport,
Gotcha.
And then I got to start. Then I'm starting to watch players and not even caring about games, and it's like, I'll leave that to those guys.
So are you on the backside, right? Because you're doing this all yourself out of your own pocket. Are there days where you take like a big L? Where everybody wins and shit, and you're stressed out, and you're watching the game hoping something else happens?
Absolutely. You don't always win. It's just like a player. You don't always win. You're gonna have bloody weeks, and you're gonna have great weeks. And my players, if they win, they don't want to hear me say, "Oh, well, hold on, I'm trying to get it over here. I'm trying to once I meet Tom, I'm gonna come over and meet you so I can pay you." They're like, right. I don't care what fucking Tom has to do with me. Right. I'm looking to get paid right now, So, it's like once people know that if they win, they get paid, that's all they want to know. Right. You know what I mean? It's like anything. It's like you go to work, you want to know, like, hey, when it comes time when I go cash my check, that thing ain't going to bounce. You know what I mean? Because if that thing bounces, you're not going to go to work, So if I can't pay somebody, they're going to be like, why the fuck am I going to play through this guy? He can't even fucking pay me when I win.
Yeah, that's intense. Yeah, no, for sure. You got to be. So that was going to lead into my next question. Let's say you want to start doing this and you're a guy. What should be the amount of money you need to have to cover your bets? 10,000, 100,000?
Depends what kind of players you're going to get.
Okay.
Like if you can start off, with whatever you want, but you can't go take a player that, if you got a player that's betting $1,000 a game and you only got $10,000 bankroll, I mean, that could be gone in one day.
Right. No, that makes sense. Is it something looking forward to? Let's say you're trying to get some lower tier players. Do you still might need an investor? Like, is it good to have partners or is it better to be by yourself doing this kind of biz?
I would say it depends. I think partners are good. You know what I mean? I'm good with partners. I got a partner and it works out great. But it's also you got to be able to trust somebody. It's all built on trust.
Yeah, no, trust me. I'm me trying to do this situation here, and it's been hard to meet people that are sound in body. A lot of people say yeah, but when it comes around to getting down and the nitty gritty, there's a lot of flakes. I think, especially in the West Coast.
Yeah, and people want their money. Everyone will say yeah when they see dollar signs, but then as soon as it's like, hey, for like you a podcast, it's like, hey, yeah, if this blows up, hey man, I'm definitely going to give you 20%, 25%, whatever you want to work out your deal as. But hey, it could take a day or it could take 10 years.
Right.
Are you in it for the long haul or are you in it for the short haul? So it's hard to find somebody that you trust and has the same vision as you and, the same outlook. Like if my partner believed in, treating people like Suge Knight did and hanging people over balconies, that's not what I believe in. So it wouldn't work for us. Luckily, me and my partner have the same philosophies and the same values, and we treat people with the same respect. That it's we don't have those issues, and we don't want those issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone can't pay and they feel like they need to go run, then whatever. I'm not going to chase them down. They're the ones who are going to have to live with that. When they go on a vacation, and they're the ones looking over their shoulder in case, oh man, I hope I don't run into so and so. Like I just think, karma always comes back to get people.
That's a fact, bro. I'm proof of that. I've sowed in both boxes, the good box and the bad box, and I've paid some of those dividends in the bad box. But yeah, if you do well. It also, I think, it comes back to when you're talking about values and principles. Was these things that were instilled to you by your mom and dad, or was this just stuff you kind of picked up along the way?
Man, I just picked them up a little bit by my dad. A lot of it's got to be with just playing sports as a kid, and like being part of a team and like, if you're not giving 100%, you're letting your team down. That's like so if you don't feel like being there, don't show up, and don't play. You know what I mean? So it's like same thing with like people, it's like, hey, if I invite you to come out, don't feel like you have to come out. If you don't feel like being around anybody and you want to bring a bad attitude or, you want to treat people rude, whatever, then don't show up. You know what I mean?
100%,
I think
man.
it's just more life and the walks of life that I've gone through in life and, the people that I've met, and the bad stuff that's happened to me or the bad stuff I've done to people and then received the karma back, you know what I mean? Whatever it may be, growing up, you kind of just, as you get older, you kind of learn like, man, you just got to do the right thing.
No, I agree, man. Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, I was a little bit more of a misfit, but as you grow up and you realize, your reputation counts, what people think of you might not be an ultimate outcome, but it's important that people look at you as a person of value, a person of principles, especially when you, like we were talking, creeping into the 40, you know what I mean? I think you could totally be a fuck off at 22, 23, but once you pass 30 and you're still kind of making the same mistakes you did in your 20s, it's probably not a good look.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like my the wife always tells me that I'm like Peter Pan. I have some drinks in me, and next thing you know, I think I'm 21 again.
Ain't that the truth, brother?
Yeah, and I try not to be. Like I try not to be. I'm like, I don't want to act like that no more. You know what I mean? But like sometimes
you got to cut loose, baby.
sometimes it comes out, But yeah, and I try to put it in my kids too. I tell them a lot of, daily, and treat people like you want to be treated, whether it's talking to your brother or, somebody else. Like, if you're being a dick to them, then don't be mad when he's being a dick to you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to
100%.
hear it.
I agree.
So treat people the same way you want to be treated. And, honestly, the world would probably be a better place, especially with everything going on right now.
Yo, dude, no truer words have been spoken. That's like my mantra, which is funny. That's why we probably get along so well. Being a former bartender, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. I mean, that's the only way I think they get the message. If you treat people like shit, they're not going to really want to engage with you. They're not going to want to talk to you. So I don't think everybody understands that, but it would be a way better place if people did kind of embrace those principles.
Here you go. Since, I've came into your bar before, so, I look at myself, I pretty much take care of bartenders and, waitresses. Like, I tip good.
Yeah,
you know
you
what
do.
I mean? Because I want to make sure that they know they're appreciated. And hey, if I walk into the bar, they know, like, hey, hurry up, get this guy a drink now.
immediately.
You know what I mean? Whatever he wants. Yeah. So I was over at this restaurant. I'm not going to throw them under the bus this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
But out there in Vegas, and it's out in the Aria Hotel. It's a nice restaurant, and went there with the family. We had great service, took care of the waitress great. Well, I was out there in February, same restaurant, and this waitress was so terrible. I wrote on the receipt, "You're absolutely horrible," and I went to the bartender because she wouldn't even come around so I could pay the bill. Nothing.
Wow,
it was just the worst experience I've ever had. So I go to the bartender who I don't know personally, but he knows my face. I know his face. I walk in, bam, hey, what do you need, kind of thing. So I give him the receipt, and he was like, "What happened?" I said, "Dude, she's terrible. Look, she's still not here." So I tipped him. I say, "Here, I'm going to tip you because the drinks were good. You're always solid with me. I'm going to tip you. If you want to tip her, that's on you." You know what I mean? And so as I'm walking out, she comes chasing me. "Hey, you got to pay your bill." I said, "I've paid the bartender."
Wow.
She's not allowed to do that. And I just walked out.
Wow. That's so crazy that she tried to, even after all that shit, she's chasing you down as a walkout, and she didn't even realize you already settled up.
I didn't even realize I paid the bill. And she was so terrible. I've never, ever stiffed anybody on a tip or nothing, because I'm like, man, sometimes people are just having a bad day.
Agreed.
But this was so terrible that I just, plus I had some drinks in me, I'm out there in Vegas, so I felt like I had to give her zero. I just felt like it was the right thing to do so that it would make her a better waitress, I thought,
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, is it normally they roll out the red carpet in Vegas, right? Like everybody's treating you nice, not you specifically, but in general. I don't get out to Vegas that often. Is the hospitality level game like it's pretty awesome?
It's definitely next level. They want you to feel like, they want everybody to feel like they're somebody, basically. I would say, that's a fair assessment.
No, that's dope.
And then once they learn your name or whatever, they're calling you by name because they want you to feel that. They know, that the hospitality game. Hey, you treat me great, I'm going to give you a better tip, probably. Whether you're a valet or whether you're a dealer. You know what I mean? It's like, so they definitely are on top of it out there. I would say they're next level in the hospitality industry.
So I gotta know, because I think you go out to Vegas pretty often, right?
Yeah, I try, as much as the wife will let me, for sure.
So did you get to this time go? Did you creep again to the stadium?
Our room looked right at the stadium, but we didn't go over to the stadium.
So you could see it, the whole
awesome.
deal.
Yeah, it looks awesome, man.
Wow.
It's going to be a great stadium. It's a shame that nobody's going to be able to see it.
Yeah, that sucks that for the first season, especially with the unveiling of it, that people are not going to be there to kind of cheer on the team, because Raider fans, they travel. And so it's interesting to see, especially now that they're changing locations, how that whole thing is going to work, because they go from Oakland to Vegas.
Yeah. It's going to be weird. It's going to be something to see,
So speaking about that, right? Are you feeling confident about the squad? I mean, you guys do have the Super Bowl champs in your division.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too. I mean, I like our running back. I like a few things, but God, I just feel like Carr just makes that one or two dumb decisions a game, whether it's you're at the 5 and you go run and he fumbles it out of the end zone, or he just throws it up for grabs instead of just living to see another down. If he can eliminate those mistakes, those one or two brainy, just dumb mistakes, then that'll be better. And, it's another year under Gruden's system. He had to learn a new system. So hopefully this year will be good to see what happens,
You think Mariota's going to be making noise from the bench? Because they did sign him, right?
If things start going bad, if Carr makes one or two dumb mistakes, the fans, they're going to be yelling for it. How you not?
I know it's going to be unreal. I guess if he was more of a prolific passer, they'd probably be yelling sooner.
I kind of look at him like Rich Gannon when Gruden had Gannon, and it's like you don't need to make that deep pass. You just got to make those short passes, and then with your legs, if you can scramble a little bit to get out of trouble, you're okay. Live to see another down. Gruden's hey, if it's not there, live to see another down. You know what I mean? And don't press the issue, basically. Don't force it,
Well, I think, Jacobs had a phenomenal rookie season. If he can come in and do the same kind of stuff, if not a little bit more, because he had a couple nagging injuries mid-season, but if he can complete 16 games and put up anything over 1,000 yards, that's got to take off some of the decision-making off of Carr. Because I feel like when you're a younger quarterback and you're trying to do too much, that's kind of when you run into some of those mistakes. I think now they might be a more complete team. I can't even believe your tight end is being projected to be like a top 5 tight end. Another guy that Mike Mayock picked up. I mean, Mike's been getting busy over there.
Yeah. They're trying to do the most. That's for sure. You see all their drafts, all their draft picks were basically out of the ACC, they're either Clemson guys or they were SEC guys.
I've always said that from the beginning. I don't know. And this is not an offensive thing to like the Pac-12. Wait, yeah, the Pac-12 or the Big Ten, but all the best players come from the SEC, bro, if not the ACC. Like, why are you drafting dudes from nothing against some of these other teams, but they're not playing the best of the best, right? So how can you say that you're the best or up there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why are you going to go draft this, cornerback out of UCLA when you could go draft the second string quarterback out of Alabama, who would be a star in the Pac-12?
100%. A lot of those guys.
And you got to look at the coaching. Is the coaching that they're getting, is it NFL type playbook or is it, high school type playbook? You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I think a lot of quarterbacks have that.
Once you get to the NFL, that playbook, that thing's no joke. And if you're too dumb to learn it, no matter how much talent you have, it's just eventually the talent's going to go away, and you're not going to be smart enough to learn the playbook.
So we're obviously feeling confident about the offensive side of the ball. How we feel on defense? Are we feeling good? Or we feel like we still got a lot of holes?
I mean, hopefully it's good. I mean, what's his name who got hurt last year? The safety, I forget. He's a big hitter. He reminded me a lot of Ronnie Lott. You know what I mean? So hopefully everyone's healthy, and God, hopefully, we can see what we have. That's the problem, staying healthy.
It seems like that's a problem for a lot of teams, man. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they're being overworked or if their strength and conditioning coaches aren't being mindful, or if diet. I mean, there's so many moving parts, right?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the Chargers, I don't know if it's their strength and conditioning coach or what, but they can't ever have a healthy season.
Never. Not on offensive line, not on wide receiver, not at running back, not at tight end. They don't ever get a break.
Rivers is lucky to get out of there and he can still walk.
100%, man. I mean, I'm sure he's happy he's in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Hopefully he could do something, out over there. He's got to be one of those quarterbacks that you look at him and go, man, that was like one of the, like a Dan Marino. God, how do you not win a Super Bowl? Look at the numbers. And how do you not win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I know that's got to be. I mean, especially when you come out of a draft class with Roethlisberger, who won 2, and Eli Manning, who won 2, and you don't even get to go. You didn't even get to go once. I also think that's a little bit of the Patriots too, man. The Patriots have made it hard for the AFC. Now that Brady's out of there, I mean, and then they bring in Cam Newton, which is, who knows what that's going to be like. It could probably be even better. I mean, I don't know. It could be disastrous or it could be amazing.
Yeah. Just it's going to see. We'll see a lot. With like, can you learn Belichick's playbook? There's a lot of and can Belichick adjust to somebody that doesn't completely know his playbook and scale it down a little bit? Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's
It should be a really good season. I mean, if we can make it through the season, it should be a really good season. With all
there's
the
so
moves
many
that happen.
amazing bylines.
I mean, the Broncos just, you look at them on paper and you're like, I mean, how can they not make a run?
I agree. Everybody's really hot about this kid, Drew Lockett. What do you think about Drew?
I don't know about him. That's the one question, right?
100%. That's the one thing they got to worry about. Yes.
If they had Rivers over there in
game over
in Denver, I would have been like, oh my God,
they got a chance. Yes.
I guess there's only one team really that you could count out. You know who that is, right?
What, in your division?
No, just in the NFL.
The Jags? I don't know.
Jets.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's so funny. I just had these Jets bloggers on, and they totally disagree, man. They think it's going to be a pretty good season. They looked at the schedule. I predicted 8-8, which is fine for me. But they think
that's a win.
Right. That's a W for sure. But they think they're going to be a little bit better.
I'm just not sold on Sam Darnold either.
That's what I was trying to tell them. But, I was being gentle with them. I didn't really want to crush them. I don't really believe in Sam Darnold. They love Sam Darnold, but I'm not.
I mean, who's the best quarterback who ever came out of USC?
None, right?
Carson Palmer?
That's about it. Maybe. And you could make an argument for that. And only during Cincinnati. He had an interesting run as a Cardinal, but that was it.
Yeah, and I mean, he had what do he have? He had Chad Johnson. He had Usman Zada.
Yeah, he had a squad.
Who do you have? Dylan, I think, is his running.
Yeah.
I mean, and their defense was lights out, and they still couldn't win. I mean, I'm just not sold on the USC quarterback.
Me neither. I'm not. And it's the second time we go to that river to pull something, because we have Mark Sanchez, and no hit on Mark Sanchez, but he wasn't, as accurate as he could have been, or, who knows? I think Mark was a little bit more famous than quarterback, if anything else.
Yeah, I think that they're great. They're great backups. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take any of those guys as my backup.
Agreed.
But to pay these guys, that's the problem. They're all trying to find this number one. You know what I mean? And like, they're willing to pay them, and it sets these franchises back so much that it's just crazy.
I know we were making that discussion or that argument on my last show. Do you think it's important to get a quarterback first round, or do you wait and you build your team in another way?
I mean, how many good ones? Hold on one second.
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
How many good ones came out of the first round?
Not that many, but I mean, you could make an argument now that there have been a couple. Cam was one of them. Roethlisberger was one of them. Rivers was one of them. Eli Manning was one of them. Michael Vick was one of them. But,
yeah. So there's been some, but out of all of them that have been drafted, the percentage of them,
yes, very low.
When you look at how many have been drafted in the later rounds that have been successful, you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't feel. I don't feel personally. I'm not a NFL exec, but if I was, I would shy away from it unless I had the number one pick. I needed a quarterback, and I thought for sure, next year with Lawrence coming out,
I think he's going to be the first slam dunk. Actually, he's going to be the first slam dunk since Andrew Luck, in my opinion.
You just can't pass on him.
No,
you know what I mean. It's like, how can you'd be dumb to pass on him, even if he ends up being a bust. At least you
right. You got to look at him.
There's not one team that would question your pick.
100%. So now if you guys start tanking, right? Let's say you show up and blah, blah, blah. You guys are, 4-11 or something like that. Do you guys take a look at them?
Absolutely.
Right?
How do you not?
Right.
I mean, if you have the number one pick next year and you don't take him, I mean, you're looking to get fired. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You're looking to get fired.
Shit. So, I mean, when you got teams like the Raiders looking at him, the Jaguars, I think, are going to probably want to look at him. You got the Patriots,
I was
the Jets.
I was surprised the Patriots went and got Cam Newton, because I'm like, man, if they could just go with this other, whatever their name is, Strinham or whatever, I forget what his name is, their guy that they were going with, that Belichick
like Stratham, Stratham or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, hey, why not go with him? See what you got. If he's a bust, hey, hopefully you get the number one pick and you got sunshine right there, you know?
I think that they're looking to tank, but they don't want to make it look like they're tanking on purpose.
Belichick don't want to lose either. You know that, you know?
I mean, but when you could get a guy like Lawrence, why wouldn't you lose just 1 year? And then again, you get like another 10 years of greatness. I mean, so far from what we're thinking, right? Because we don't know what Lawrence really is in the NFL. But from what he's done so far, he looks like he checks all the boxes.
Yeah, I mean, or he comes out and all of a sudden he blows his knee and he's never the same player. So it's like, so now you not only did you tank for the season, well, now next year you're screwed. The year after that, you're screwed. And now you don't even know what you have. And then if you get the number one pick again, do you take another quarterback? You know what I mean?
I know. That's rough.
The tanking is never worth it. I don't think if you're that bad and you get the number one pick, then you need it. You know, like whoever it may be next year, if you're that bad and you get the number one pick, you get Lawrence, you're good. But if you don't get the number one pick and you get the number two pick, I just don't see, like, you don't have to get a quarterback unless you absolutely need one. I say draft what you need, you know?
Agreed.
And I think that, like, all these guys, you know, like, look at Mahomes. He didn't play that first year. He sat behind Alex Smith,
which I think was amazing.
There's nothing wrong with sitting these guys. Phillip Rivers sat behind Drew Brees.
100%.
I mean,
Tom Brady sat behind Bledsoe.
Yeah, it's like these guys don't come right into the league and they're just automatic stars. And if they do, it's a rarity. You know what I mean?
I think the NFL was pushing that agenda way too much, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's too much pressure on these young kids. You know, they go from not having no money, you know, most of them not really having that much money in their whole family tree to now becoming millionaires. And they're excited about that. And they're trying to buy their parents a house and they're trying to buy themselves a house. And, you know, they're trying to learn a pro playbook and they're trying to be a leader of a team and the face of a team. And, you know, now they're doing, you know, photo shoots and commercials, and it's just too much to put on these kids. It's like, let the kids sit for a year or two and let them get financially established. Let them get mentally ready for the NFL and let them start learning a playbook and then put them in there. And look at Mahomes. This is probably the greatest thing they ever decided.
I agree.
You know?
I agree 100%. You know, it's funny too, because I think like things started to become more interesting when the Jamarcus Russells of the world and the Sam Bradfords of the world made all that money. And so when you pay somebody $100 million, there's no way you can't start him. And then I think he just messed up the narrative in the NFL. They got a lot of these guys early and started throwing them in there. And I mean, not only do you have to worry about buying your mama a house and all this other stuff, and you need confidence too, right? So if they throw you to the Lions, you know, you might not even think you're good. And then your psyche goes through the war, you know, gets thrown away. And then you have no idea what direction. I mean, you might almost think you don't even know how to play sports anymore. You know, you
go from Ohio State and having, you know, 5 seconds when you drop back to throw a pass to go into, you know, the Jaguars or something. And you got 1.8 seconds to figure out what you're going to do with that ball. It's like, dude, how do I do this? You know?
Right. I think somebody that's going to be looked at now this season is Baker, right? Because Baker looked like a stud in college, right? But now, was it the offense? Was it the head coach? Was it the system? Was it where he's at? Because now you got to play the Steelers twice. You got to play the Ravens twice. It's going to be hard, bro.
This is his year. You got the weapons. What can you do with them? You got running backs. You got wide receivers. You got playmakers all over the place. You got to be able to do something with it, you know. And if you can't, then...
yeah, it's time to look at Lawrence.
yeah.
So you're like me. Are you pessimistically optimistic, or are you optimistically optimistic about your season?
I'm a fan, and I hope the best, but I expect the worst. You know, like, I mean, if we had an 8-8 year, I'd be happy with that. You know what I mean?
500, baby.
I mean, yeah, I'd be happy with that. If we had an 8-8 year, and we either what I really want to see this year is what we have at quarterback.
Agreed.
Are we in the right situation, or do we need to? Or do we need to go out and get some veteran, or, like, you know, in the off season, do we need to go try to find, you know, who's next out there? You know what I mean?
I know you have we're
Like,
kind of about
who's the backup out in New Orleans now? Who went? What's his name from Tampa Bay went over there, right?
yeah. To Bridgewater went to Carolina.
Yeah, Bridgewater went to Carolina, but then what's his name from Tampa Bay last year?
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. Shucks, what is this guy's name? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. But yeah,
Florida State kid.
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Winston, yeah. So it's like, next year who's going to be the NFL quarterback? Cam Newton will be back on the market unless they resign. But I mean he'll be a free agent, so he's going to be able to leave if he wants. So it's going to be kind of like, who's out there? Is there someone to get? Or are you going to try to draft somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what I really want to see. That's, we're only going to be as good as our quarterback.
I mean, listen, it seems to be the moniker of the NFL. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win. And I mean, that's what I was going to bring up. I watched David Carr and I didn't think he was that good, but a lot of people thought he was amazing. And so now you see his brother and you're thinking kind of he's going to fall from that same vein. I mean, there's been a lot of moments that I thought that they were amazing, but we'll see. Now, how's the receiving core doing? Because I feel like that's also important too. I mean, they went out and they got him Amari Cooper, but then they let Amari Cooper go to the Cowboys. So now you kind of have. I mean, are they going to be a heavy run offense?
We drafted Rhodes III from Alabama.
Okay.
And we got what's his name, Mike Williams, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was actually good. Actually, you know what? Last year, your receiving core was on fire. I think I picked up and played a couple of those dudes. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. If our quarterback can just not make mistakes, he needs to be a game manager. I don't need him to be Drew Brees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, agreed.
I just need him to manage the game and not make mistakes. Don't turn the ball over. If he don't turn the ball over, we're fine. Give ourselves the downs that we need. Don't just try to force something that's not there, So we'll see. That's what I mean. If he starts off, the first 4 games and he's got 4 interceptions through 4 games or 5 interceptions through 4 games, you know what I mean? It's like, you're going to be hearing Mariota chants all over the place.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see. I mean, thank God Mariota's not that great in the sense of as a passer. So like I said, I don't think the chance will come too early. But now that he has somebody on his heels, maybe that'll fire him up. Maybe that's another thing too. When you don't have somebody chomping at the bit at the position, it doesn't make you play better. So now maybe that they have a legitimate starter as a backup, maybe that could be the difference. I think that they spent a lot of money on that offensive line, so it's not like they don't have protection.
I wouldn't even mind him when the ball's inside the 10. You throw Mariota in there because now he's a dual threat.
I know. I'm surprised if they're going to look at that, right? Kind of some kind of spread wildcat kind of version of the offense where you get Mariota to make that decision or throw it or run it or read option. To bring to another full or the what do they call it, the RPO? That was a whole new thing that took over the NFL really quickly, that I think was devastating to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They could not stop that shit. It was so hard to read. I mean, we're talking about big size playbooks on the offensive side of the ball, but as a defender, man, you got to watch for so many things now. You got to run. You're worried about people end the rounds. The option. Now you got the run pass option.
The game's just changed so much. When Vic came into the league, he was like that first one that's like, wow, look at this guy. He could throw it all the way down the field and he can run. This is amazing, but he's not going to last because no quarterback can take the hits. You know what I mean? And then now it's like, Russell Wilson proved, hey, you could win a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, you could win a Super Bowl. Now they're like,
I think Michael Vick definitely brought some electrifying elements to the game. But both Patrick and Russell, they run east and west. Vic was a north and south runner. He really thought he was a running back. I think you can live to die another day if you're just going side to side. If you're trying to get 20-yard, 30-yard runs and somebody hits you hard, bro, you're going to be fucked. Actually, Robert Griffin tried that shit, and they were like, we're not having it, buddy.
Yeah, he had one good year.
If that, I don't even think he finished the year because he got injured.
Yeah, I think that was the year he got hurt in the playoffs, I think. Yep.
Yeah, against the Ravens. He took a hit by Haloti Nada, and Haloti Nada was like, you're not getting nada, bro. It's not happening for you. It's today. Sorry. I know you was a track and field gold medalist or whatever you were doing, but not in my building.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, Jay. Thanks so much for stopping by the show and chomping it up with us. When the NFL season comes back on, maybe we get you back on, and so maybe
absolutely.
we could get more into the understanding of spreads and how all of that works, because I need to get my my betting kung fu a little bit more up. I don't even know how that goes. A couple of your friends are insane, bro. They know if they're at this stadium, this is going to happen. Or if it's +3 here, this is what's going on. And there's so much shit to betting. It's overwhelming.
Like they always say, bet a line, don't bet a number, don't bet a team.
100%. Well, thanks a lot. We'll leave you on that, bro. I know you got the missus and the fam. I know you just got home. We'll talk to you soon, brother. Thanks for stopping in.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Peace
All right.
out.